Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing with a little quick video, a little update on this head. Before I talk about this head though, I do want to say something else to kind of get you guys something to look at. I do have an Instagram page and a business Facebook page. You're more than welcome to check both those out. I rarely post on those, except for I'm trying to tell you now what I think what I'm going to do to help some of you guys out that are customers of mine. Every day I'm just going to post a picture of what I'm working on Instagram and on TikTok just real quick. Now, Instagram, that one's easy. It's just Weingartner Racing. The TikTok one, I'll make my first post probably by the time you see this video. If you can find me, and then you have to email me. And by the way, I haven't given any one of those information, although if you do some searching on around, you can figure this out. If you're the first person to find what my TikTok page is, and email me that, you know what it is, what my handle is on TikTok, I will send you a shirt, a Weingartner Racing shirt for free. I haven't made a post yet, so this should be interesting. That way the name for TikTok is not Weingartner Racing. That's what makes it more difficult. So there you go, super sleuths. All right, let's get to this. This head is a FloTek 290 oval port head. Let me show you the end. Now, I had done a video about this before, and I showed what it flowed stock. I did a little head review. The head is really nice. I have to say it's a very nice head. Now, initially, the customer asked me, hey, can you go ahead and fully port this head for me? You know, I think it'd be amazing. Well, like most people, ran out of time. He's in a hurry. Got to have it now. He can wait, and people can wait at the beginning, but not in the end. So he's like, hey, just get it done. Do what you can. Just do a valve job on it, and we'll go from there. Which I totally respect, because you know, I understand that people don't want to miss races and things, but things are backed up at the shop. I mean, work all the time. But anyway, regardless, I'm showing them what happened with it and the improvements that were made. And I'll tell you what all I've done to it. So, first off, he just asked for a valve job done. And the way that these come is they have a 2300 intake valve and a 1880 exhaust valve. And I left those sizes the same. The 2300 really is kind of big for a 4310 bore, but it's already that way, so there's no sense in shrinking it down or anything, so I just left it. Now, I did put on my medium aggressive 45-degree valve job on that. Now, if you notice, the chambers are done. The reason for that is when I cut the valve job, I have a really tall top cut, and this may go through, so this might be confusing for some of you. The top cut that's a lap line. The top cut's the distance beyond that and how far it comes. Well, it comes into the chamber, and if I didn't do any smoothing of the chamber here, you have this nasty ridge, which I've talked about in several videos, and it would actually hurt flow. So I did the valve job, and then I blend that out. Then, because I did the valve job, it also more aggressive and makes this part bigger, the throat, so then I blended it. So the throat's actually 91% now, and that's what this is. So I did a carbide bit and then used some cartridge roll just to kind of blend it, and that's it on this side. On the exhaust side, I left the throat exactly the way it was, which was 90%, just to put a different valve job on it, my 45. So both of these are 45-degree seats. This 45 I use on just about everything, unless I step up to a 50, but won't for this, obviously. So this is just a regular 45-degree valve job, 90% throat, 91% on the intake. Now, here's something else I did change, and there's a reason for this. The openings did get opened up a bit, and you're like, why in the world did you do that? I mean, there's no sense in making these bigger. Well, it's not actually that bigger. There's an actual gasket that fits it. I think it's an MG 5274, but I will probably look here in just a second. All right, I'm glad I looked because I was wrong. I told you the wrong number. This is the actual gasket. The part number is 5827. This is the gasket. It's a roval intake gasket. Now, the reason why I open up this one, as far as the rovals are, this intake gasket is probably the larger of the rovals that we have. And again, you're asking yourself, why did you do that? You're not even fully porting the head. What was the purpose of that? Well, the reason was because I had to port the intake manifold to go with this, and he wanted the intake fully ported. Because of the roval design, a lot of the intake manifolds, and he had a 454.0, couldn't be port matched exactly to this. So in order to make it work, I made the opening itself slightly larger, and it's not a lot larger, but slightly larger to match this, which then can match the intake manifold. So that's the reason why that was done. So I guess I could have done a smaller one, but it wouldn't have lined up on the intake manifold exactly perfect. There would have been, I think it was actually in these corners, where the where it wouldn't have been perfect. And I wanted it, you know, I'm porting the intake fully, so I wanted it perfect. So a little bit of work here and did that. Do I think this actually helped flow at all? No. It's more to get the intake port alignment better. So in the end, it probably makes more power, but not by much. But I just wanted it right when I sent it. As far as anything else, if you look at the exhaust ports, there's nothing else done. So let's look at how the results went for this head and see how it turned out. Now, again, I flowed it before, same bench. This is the Sanyez bench. Didn't flow it on my Superflow. The Superflow would have read higher. The Sanyez bench, 4310 bore. I did not use an exhaust pipe. Now, there are two, I'm gonna mention this in every video because I don't know that everybody's watched all my videos, so I'm just trying to share it. On a big block Chevy, you have two intake ports. You have a long runner, this one, and a short runner, this one. They enter the bore differently. So for instance, the short runner is going that way, and it's going towards this. Yep, that way. But the long runner is actually going this way towards that, but it's hitting a different part of the actual cylinder. So this one's hitting the far wall. This one, you get the idea. So one's aiming towards that way, one's aiming towards the center. Because of that, they always flow differently. And so I'm going to show you. So this was the stock long runner. Long runner is typically what they advertise because it flows more. And if you notice, it went 357 at peak, which is at 7, then it dropped off. There were several times where I talked about why I flowed at 1 inch. I'm not going to mention in this video. The 400 number was 271, which by far is one of the strongest numbers I've seen on a 4310 bore for a big block. This is the short runner. It actually went better at 400, 273. The peak number was far lower at 343, and that was it. Now, like I said, the short runner typically flows less than the long runner. 90% of the time they advertise a long runner because it flows more. This is the stock exhaust, which is pretty good. By the way, it's a raised up exhaust port. Here's it modified. So this is the long runner, so I need to compare it to those numbers. So we look at 4, it went from a 271 to 276. It's a gain, not a huge gain, but it is a gain. And then if you look at 6, 339 to 347, so still pretty good gain. And at peak, 356 to a 363. Still flows about the same at the 1 inch because it's dropping off because the port really needs some work addressed, the short side. Short side is really steep and abrupt, and that's what's causing that. Now to the short runner. If we look at it, from a 400, 273 to a 269, I actually lost some there. That's not great, but it does happen. But if we look at the next one at 6, 320 to a 329, there you gained it back. 335 to 344 gain. You could tell it pretty much gained the whole way over it. Sorry, am I looking at the right one? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong again. No, there it is. Yeah, 320 to 329. 343 to well, I lost some there at 8 too. 341, 341, 334, 344. So for the most part though, it's about the same or slightly better or worse. So let's go through it real quick just to make sure. Better, worse, better, worse, better by 6, better by 9, better by 5, 9. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty much almost a wash, maybe slightly better on the short runner, definitely better on the long runner. Now for the exhaust. This one, remember, I didn't do any work, just blended it. I didn't have to do the throats or nothing. If you look at it, it's a solid gain. About the same there. Gain 1, gain 20. More, you get the idea. It's solidly better on the exhaust. So you might say, well, why? That's horrible. If I spend all that money, it's about the same. Because the valve job itself, he wanted redone. And I opened up the throat, and there's some things that happen. This is still better if you average the numbers. Just not a huge difference. It is on those and those. So overall, it's going to make more power just doing that. How much more? Probably maybe 20. So not a huge gain, but pretty simple stuff. In case you're wondering, this is what they advertise it to flow. This is what they say on a 1020 bench, which is actually supposed to flow less than the Superflow 750 that I have. They claim 367 at 600. Even now, it doesn't do that. And then at 4, it claimed 299. Never did that. Nor do I think I'll ever see that number on a 4310 bore. That number is made up. I'm gonna say it, made up. I've never seen a head flow 300 on a 4310 bore. Sorry. So anyway, there's some results for you. Thought I'd share that with you. Show you what I mean. I'm gonna get the intake real quick and show you that, but you can take a peek. This is the intake manifold for those heads. This is a 454O. It looks a little rough, even though I clean it up in the parts washer and stuff. I'm always hesitant. Part of me wants to blast these every time I get it, but if you ever do any glass beating, it ends up, at least the glass I use, it makes it look old, like it was in a garage sale and you picked it up. I've had some actual customers complain because I did that, so hence now I don't. But I don't know that it looks that great. But anyway, that's just the outside. Now I guess you don't care if it makes power. This is what the inside looks like. This is a lot done. I should have taken a picture before because there's a lot of material removed. This is my hybrid. There's a burr finish on the floor, and then everything else is 40 and 60 grit. There's a blend. And you got your dividers. They are not razor thin. It looks like they're knife edge. They are not. Anyway, there's, you can see down on the ports, it's much more opened up. If you ever get one of these, you'll notice there's a sharp 90-degree angle that comes right off there. And also there's usually a big old knot that's right there. Those are gone. Anyway, this thing should make more. Just doing this, even if you put it on as old heads, this right here is worth 30. I know for sure. Tested enough of this. So this porting right here is 30 horsepower. If you mix it with the heads, maybe man would gain 50. So anyway, that's what goes with this. And thanks for watching. If you got questions, let me know. So maybe someday I'll get to fully port one of those. So I really think if I fully port it, I don't know, maybe I can get it to hit 400. Be pretty good. Anyway, you guys take care.